Yo, what up, everybody? What's going on? This is Nothing But Bangers, aka MBB, aka Bangers, aka I'm back with another deck that you may have never seen before. Maybe you've seen me chat about it in the Discord, but I wanted to show it off for you, showcase it against some of the best decks in the game, and maybe a couple of games that kind of demonstrate, hey, even against some rogue decks, it's not bad. But the deck that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be a combination of Exeggutor EX and one base Exeggutor and Beedrill. So let's get to it. So here is the deck list, and I will go over the strategies as well as the card choices as we talk about this deck right now. And during the gameplay, I try to give some insight as to what I was thinking when I was playing. So hopefully you enjoy the gameplay too. And as of note, I just want to say this too. I try to pick games out of the games that I play that are against other decks that you actually care about, right? So honestly, you're probably never going to see me upload a game against Dragonite. You're never going to see me upload a game against Aerodactyl Fossils. You're never going to see me play a game where I'm queuing up against somebody that's playing something, like a Melmetal Butterfree deck. Because honestly, you don't care about those games. You care about, hey, can this deck beat Mewtwo? Can it beat Pikachu? Can it beat Arcazard? Or whatever the top of the meta is. Can it compete with water decks? Can it compete against its weakness? That's what you want to see. And again, you're going to see these crazy videos where people, clip the 3 games that they won out of the 100 that they played, and the 3 games that they won are against decks that are just terrible. So I try to at least give it to you real. And honestly, this deck is not going to be something that you should take to a tournament, because for tournaments, for you to win a tournament, you need to play the best decks out there. Unless you have something that you really cooked up that competes and beats, 2 out of the 3 best decks. And this deck, it has really powerful plays, but there are very clear weaknesses, particularly to fire. And there's so many different fire decks that throughout the span of a tournament, you're going to encounter fire decks, and it's going to be an uphill battle. You're going to need a lot of luck to beat those fire decks, on top of being able to beat Pikachu and being able to beat, Mewtwo. But let's talk about this deck and the strategy for it. So you'll notice that I do have that signature 3 Exeggutors and 2 Exeggutes. Now you'll notice one big difference from my tournament winning deck list with Venusaur and Exeggutor is that I actually play 2 of the EXs here. And the reason why I'm playing 2 of the EXs here is I want more bulk and I want more damage. Okay, so I want more bulk and I want more damage, but I also want that consistency of drawing Exeggutors so I can play them on my second turn of the game to fight back against the top decks in the format. I could play against fire, but if I get Exeggutor on my turn 2, I can fight back. Against Pikachu, I can fight back. Against, any deck, I can fight back with Exeggutor EX. But I need it, or Exeggutor, base Exeggutor, but I need it on my second turn. So I'm playing 3 of them to see them more consistently. Now, does it create dead cards later in the game? Yes, that's going to be one of the drawbacks, right? But you'll take that early advantage of hopefully seeing them as a trade-off. Now, what about the Weedle, Kakuna, and Beedrill line? So what's really powerful about this deck is that it attacks for 1 energy. Every attack costs 1 energy. So when you play against something like an Alakazam, which, not really popular, but Jinx is a thing that you might see. It doesn't really do that much against this deck because you're only playing 1 energy unless you're building up your Exeggutor EX or Exeggutor to retreat. Okay, which I'll talk about that here in a second. But basically, all these evolutions and all these basics take 1 energy to attack, meaning that they can attack at any time. And Beedrill is going to do 70 damage for 1 energy, which is one of the best values in the game, right? If you're sorting the energy and attacks and then attack per, how much damage it does per energy, 70 damage per energy is, I believe, the highest actually in the game, right? That doesn't involve a coin flip. So Beedrill has a very powerful value, but it is a stage 2. So what this deck is trying to do is it's trying to soak damage on Exeggutors, and it's trying to, do some early damage with the Exeggutors, and then be able to pivot into your Beedrill that deals 70 consistently. So ideally, you open with Exeggute in the active, and you have Weedle on the bench that you're slowly evolving. If you evolve on curve, fantastic. But that's the ideal situation. And you do want to spend time putting your energies on Exeggutor. So, for example, you may have a scenario where you have your Exeggutor out, it's already got an energy, and you have a Kakuna on the bench. Instead of attaching the energy to Kakuna, you would put the energy on Exeggutor. And the reason why you're doing this a lot of the times is you want to have that second energy on Exeggutor so that way you can attach a third and retreat it out of the active. Because you'll notice there's no X speeds in the trainers. So you want to soak damage, heal damage with Erica on those Exeggutors. And then as you get that Beedrill finally evolved, you want to retreat out of Exeggutor, send in the Beedrill, and then hopefully you have another Exeggutor on the bench or another Beedrill on the bench that you're also building up as this goes on. So this is a very different strategy than what you've seen with almost every other grass list that's playing evolutions, because you don't have that Venusaur that you're building up. The thing that you're trying to do is make it to where your opponent is dealing damage to you, but you're returning fire every turn. So you're able to keep up with those Pikachu decks, especially in the games where you go second, because, hey, they're not attacking for that first turn. And then if they only have Pikachu, they're not attacking till their second turn, which is, by that time, you may already have an Exeggutor that's hit them for 80 damage, right? You may have an Exeggutor that's already hit them for 60 damage. Even one of the bad things that you'll notice in that matchup is Kakuna is going to get KO'd by a full benched Pikachu EX. So that is something to be aware of. So a lot of the time you do want to try to pivot out of that. But again, when it comes to Mewtwo, when it comes to Charizard, when it comes to these Moltres, when it comes to those Arcanines, you can slowly chip damage with every evolution in all of these Pokemons and the basics. Okay. And again, when you take a look at the trainers, obviously to research, to Erica, so that way you can extend the life of your Exeggutors, or so you can extend the life of your Kakuna/Beedrills in the matchups where they can survive and take a hit. Now, as far as the other trainers, you see one Sabrina, one Giovanni, and one red card. The Sabrina is there because it's a game winner, right? It's a card where, hey, they may be switching out their Pokemon and soaking damage, but that Sabrina at the late game can just clinch the game. And then worst case, you're using it early, defensively, trying to stall. Giovanni helps you fix some breakpoints. For example, 90 is a pretty popular breakpoint, and then it also pushes your Beedrills up to 80, which, hey, that Giovanni is going to help your 2-hit KO math a lot of the time. And then red card is there to try to fight back against those decks that are playing stuff like Caterpie, like Meowth, that are, people that are just greed lording their professor's research and then ending with, 5-6 cards in their hand, stuff like that. Could you take out the red card? Sure. That's perfectly up to you. But again, the whole idea is I want to soak damage with my Exeggutors. I want to pivot them out and bring in my Beedrills. And worst case, if I have to build up my Weedle into Kakuna into Beedrill, hopefully, on curve, it could actually be able to knock out a Pikachu EX. It could actually be able to knock out a Mewtwo EX before it knocks out your Beedrill. So there's the concept. Let's get to some games. All right, going first into an electric deck. So I guess the question is it Pikachu? Because Pikachu going second, it's kind of good. It's kind of good. All right, that's a lot of basics, so it's probably Pikachu. Yep. Pikachus and Voltorbs. So there's our Weedle. And we just passed. Trying to respect red card. And that way we can go ahead and hopefully find Exeggutor EX. So we find Exeggutor EX. Now we'll rip the research, because even if they red card, the card that we're actually more afraid of is probably Sabrina. All right, obviously heads puts us in a pretty good spot. We flip aheads, thank goodness. Holy moly. So they have to use an early potion, or they have to pivot into an Electrode, which Electrode has, I believe it has 80 HP. Or they have to find another Pikachu, right? So they find another Pikachu. Well, yeah, there's the early potion. Here's going to be 90 damage into Exeggutor, which I'm just going to Erica and sit here and look at them. But the idea is to, you know, again, like you're just trying to soak damage and retreat. So we're just trying to soak damage, retreat, soak damage, retreat, soak damage, retreat. We're going to go ahead and put it on the Exeggutor. And then we're going to be out of range for a knockout. And we flip double head, so the potion doesn't even matter. So now we are another coin flip away from winning. They probably, yeah, they might concede, obviously, but the thing that we have to be aware of now is, yeah, Pinch coming in and paralyzing us, which if they're attaching energy to Pinch instead of their Pikachu, we're in good shape. But again, like the thing is, you know, this is how this deck can answer Pikachu, right? The deck can answer Pikachu with Exeggutor EX. So I'm still building up my Beedrills. My Pokeballs are officially dead, right? Or my Pokeball is dead. Now I can go ahead and put this on the other Exeggutor. And I can go ahead. I could Sabrina, but it doesn't really fix anything, right? In fact, I would probably want to Sabrina next turn. So there's the tails, which, again, makes sense. Like, you can't sit here and flip heads all day. So we're probably going to get paralyzed. Because there's really no other play for them, right? But this is more of a demonstration of the power of Exeggutor, right? That's kind of the big thing to take away. This is the power of Exeggutor whenever you're able to start off with it in this matchup, which is obviously a very powerful deck. You know, this deck that we're going up against is meta defining. And, you know, we've seen the meta kind of shift around it now, and, you know, no matter what, we win here, so it doesn't even matter. But we'll go ahead and Geo. But again, just a great example of why Exeggutor is so good, right? The Exeggutor EX, and why I play 2 in this particular build, but in my Venusaur Exeggutor deck that I won a tournament with, I only played 1 EX and 2 of the base, right? I like the extra bulk, and I like how it can answer Pikachu. So, great example there. Okay, this is a game where we will be going first into a fire deck. Oh no, so fire deck can one-shot me right away. Except if it's Growlithe. Uh-oh. Yeah, so we're going to Pokeball here, try to find Exeggutor. We're going to be greedy with it, because, I mean, like, we have to find Exeggutor. If we find Exeggutor, it's a great chance that we can go ahead and fight back, even though we have the type disadvantage. And unfortunately, we just whiff, right? So now red card just, you know, feels really bad. The only plus side about if I get red carded is none of the cards in my hand are alive, right? Like, all the cards in my hand are dead. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, I mean, not getting Exeggutor on board on my turn 2 is just going to be painful. Yeah, my best bet is going to be Beedrill coming down. Let's see if the difference, if there was a difference if I Giovanni'd there. I don't think it's gonna matter. Dude, my opponent is playing every fire Pokemon. Are they playing Ninetales too? Jeez, no wonder they didn't have Moltres. Yeah, so they're just basically softening up my Pokemon, but Beedrill's gonna come in and, okay, so there's the Execute. Okay, we can fight back. We can fight back. This is cool. Yeah, so we're going to go at an energy advantage here, even though we went first. Their Cinescorch is not going to be ready for like 4 turns. They needed Moltres, but they're playing, yeah. Okay, hey, sweet, we got to win. It's so weird. Sometimes it shows the level and sometimes it doesn't. But we're going first into a Psychic deck. And then we're opening up an Execute. So this is going to be M2 Garde, but they have Jinx. But kind of doesn't matter because we don't play, like, we're not putting a lot of energy unless we're retreating, right? Like, I guess if we're building up an Execute to retreat, it could be an issue. But we're just going to go into probably Exeggutor EX, right? Just so we can try to high roll the Jinx out of the game. Because we flip a heads before they even touch us. That's a big deal. And then we just play the other Execute. Even if we flip tails, we still have a chance to, yeah. So flipping a tails, even if they Sabrina here, you still have a chance to hit heads, even if they potion and get a knockout on the Jinx. So that's good. You imagine one of these Pokeballs is going to find Mewtwo at some point, and they might just skip putting an energy on Jinx since it's not much damage and just put it on Mewtwo. Well, nope, they're just going to go ahead and they're going to go for that 50 damage. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to rip this research here. And we're going to draw some dead cards, unfortunately. And then we're not going to evolve just because we might want to go double EX. And then we flip the heads on when we don't need it, which is just, I mean, it's slightly aggravating, but I mean, that's just the nature of the game. Sometimes you're going to flip heads when you don't need it at all. And sometimes you're going to flip tails when you absolutely need it to just like compete in the game. Just kind of the nature of Pokemon trading card game. So this is great because I'm still going to be able to go into an Execute. They just don't know it. And it's going to be another Exeggutor EX. And we're just going to start chopping at this Mewtwo. So we're missing our whole other line. And granted, they haven't evolved at all. I mean, we have half of our deck, basically. Yeah, so now Gardevoir is probably coming online next turn and dealing 150, right? So Giovanni heads wins. I don't mind using Erica right here. I don't mind using Erica right here, and it's not like I need the extra energy attachments. And then, I mean, hey, I could have just won the game by using Giovanni, right? But how can I know that I'm going to flip heads? You could say that you don't even need to Erica there because it's not like they have to have Giovanni, right? They have to have Gardevoir Giovanni, which there's the Giovanni. They retreat. I don't know. That was weird. That was something. Maybe we're both making questionable plays. Maybe that's what the critique is, right? Maybe the critique is we're both making questionable plays. I can't believe they didn't have the Gardevoir right after the Kirlia. You imagine that they're sitting on Gardevoir and just didn't have the Kirlia. Now Yeah, there's the Gardevoir. There's the X speed. There's the double X speed, but they have to have another Mewtwo. It's not like they really have a lot of options. Yeah, this is just a concede then. Okay. Yeah, just a concede. So I mean, maybe I open the door for him a little bit. Yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's just quickly end this game. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. The fact that you made it all the way to the end of the video. I hope you enjoy the deck, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. Let me know what you think about the deck. Let me know what other brews I should showcase. Obviously, I do like making these content videos for these special brews, these decks that you don't necessarily see all the time in tournaments. But again, thank you for making time for me to be entertainment, maybe on background noise, whatever you're doing. But hopefully you check out the videos as well that'll be popping up on the screen. And until next time, peace.